March 8, 2014. At 1:21 a.m., a Boeing 777 carrying 227 passengers and 12 crew members vanished from the rules of modern aviation. No mayday, no explosion, no emergency on radar. Instead, something far more unsettling happened. One by one, the plane's communication systems went dark, not all at once, not by accident, as if someone inside the cockpit knew exactly which switches to flip and in what order. Then, silence. For the next 6 hours, the aircraft continued flying, unseen, unheard, across the darkness of the Indian Ocean, and when it finally vanished, it left behind no wreckage, no explanation, and no certainty. This is not a story about a crash. This is a story about a disappearance. This is the mystery of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370. Before we get started, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps support the content. On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 departed Kuala Lumpur bound for Beijing, China. Estimated flight time, 6 hours. Arrival time, 6 a.m. On board, 227 passengers and 12 crew members. None of them would ever be seen again. The aircraft was a Boeing 777, a plane trusted by airlines worldwide. It could fly for over 7 hours nonstop. It had multiple backup systems, and statistically, it was one of the safest aircraft ever built. This exact plane had flown the Malaysia-China route for more than 11 years without a single major incident. There was no storm, no turbulence, no mechanical warning. Everything was normal. And that is what makes what happened next so disturbing. At 12:41 a.m., MH370 lifted off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport. Weather, clear. Visibility, perfect. For the first 40 minutes, the flight followed its assigned path exactly. Then as the plane approached the border between Malaysian and Vietnamese airspace, air traffic control made routine contact.
Malaysian 370 maintaining level 350.
Malaysian 370. Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
Those two words were the last confirmed transmission from the aircraft. Less than 90 seconds later, MH370 disappeared from civilian radar. Not gradually, not partially, it was just gone. The transponder stopped transmitting. The aircraft never entered Vietnamese airspace. Controllers assumed a technical issue. They waited. Minutes passed. No response. At 2 a.m., Malaysia declared a full aviation emergency. But the nightmare had only just begun. As news spread, families gathered at Beijing Capital Airport, watching arrival screens in silence. Then, reports surfaced. Some relatives claimed they could still hear ringing tones when calling passengers' phones. For a moment, hope exploded. Had the plane landed somewhere remote? Had it been hijacked? But telecom experts quickly intervened. International networks can produce false ringing sounds even when a phone is unreachable. The calls meant nothing. Hope collapsed. MH370 carried fuel for 7.5 hours. That meant one thing. If the aircraft was still airborne, it could only be for a limited time. And if it wasn't, then somewhere across one of the largest bodies of water on Earth, 239 people had already died. But the investigators were about to uncover evidence that would completely rewrite the story. Evidence proving the plane didn't crash when it disappeared. It kept flying. For 2 days, the world searched the wrong place. The South China Sea. Ships, aircraft, satellites. Nothing. Then, on March 10th, Malaysia's military made a quiet discovery. MH370 had not disappeared at 1:21 a.m. It had simply stopped talking. Using long-range military radar, officials confirmed something shocking. The aircraft had turned around. Instead of continuing toward Vietnam, MH370 made a deliberate left turn, crossing back over Malaysia. This was not turbulence, not an autopilot glitch. It was a controlled maneuver. The plane passed near Penang Island, the hometown of Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah. Then it headed northwest toward the Indian Ocean. At 2:22 a.m., the aircraft vanished again, this time from military radar as well. And now investigators were facing a terrifying reality. Someone was flying the plane. Inside a Boeing 777, only two people can disable communication systems, change the flight path, control altitude and speed. The captain and the first officer. No passenger, no hijacker in the cabin, just the cockpit. Malaysia's Prime Minister confirmed it publicly. The communication systems were turned off manually. This was not an accident. At first, investigators assumed terrorism. Two Iranian passengers were traveling on stolen passports. The media erupted. But within days, both men were cleared. They were migrants, not extremists. No group claimed responsibility, no demands were made, no message, no proof of life. A hijacking without demands made no sense, which left only one possibility. Attention turned to Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, a respected veteran pilot, married, father, grandfather. At his home, investigators found something unexpected, a professional flight simulator. That alone was not unusual, but when analysts recovered deleted data from the simulator's hard drive, they found flight paths that eerily resembled MH370's final known trajectory. Long, remote, ending deep in the Indian Ocean. It looked rehearsed. A theory began to form, one that explained everything. The aircraft climbs rapidly. Cabin pressure drops. Oxygen masks deploy. Passengers have 15 minutes of air. The pilot's oxygen lasts much longer. One by one, everyone on board loses consciousness. The aircraft becomes silent, empty, flying on toward nowhere. But theories are not proof, and the ocean was about to remind the world how easily it keeps secrets. After MH370 disappeared from civilian and military radar, investigators were left with nothing. No distress call, no position, no debris. But there was one system still listening. Inmarsat, a British satellite company. Every hour, MH370's satellite terminal sent a tiny automated digital ping. Not a message, not a location. Just a handshake confirming that the aircraft's system was powered on. These pings should have been meaningless, but they became the single most important clue in the investigation. MH370 was equipped with a satellite data unit that normally communicates with Inmarsat's satellites to send maintenance logs. When the plane went silent, all systems stopped transmitting, except the fail-safe handshake protocol. The system operated through a simple automated protocol. Every 60 minutes, the aircraft's satellite unit established a brief connection with the satellite. This was not a message or a data transmission, just a confirmation that the system was still powered on. The satellite recorded the exact time of each connection. No position, no coordinates, only a timestamp. But in this investigation, that timestamp was enough. Inmarsat engineers measured that delay for each handshake. The longer the delay, the farther the aircraft was from the satellite. The shorter the delay, the closer it was. Plotting these distances created a series of curved lines on a map called arcs. Each arc represented the plane was somewhere along this curve at this moment. These arcs didn't tell the direction, but they told how far MH370 was. Two possible paths. Based on the distance arcs, MH370 could have gone in only one of two directions. North route, towards Central Asia, over India, near Kazakhstan and Turkmenistan, through multiple military radar zones. If MH370 flew north, at least 6 countries with military radars would have detected it. None of them reported any unknown aircraft. So the northern path became extremely unlikely. 2. South route, into the Indian Ocean. A vast, empty area. No radar, no land, no emergency landing options. The signal delays matched perfectly with a steady, straight southern flight. By combining the time delay of each satellite ping, the direction of the arcs, fuel calculations, speed ranges, and the lack of any northern radar sightings, investigators concluded MH370 flew south for almost 6 more hours until it ran out of fuel and descended into the Indian Ocean. The last ping, a partial, incomplete one, was likely the moment the engines flamed out. Australia, Malaysia, and China launched the largest and most expensive search ever attempted, over $200 million. Ships, aircraft, underwater drones. The ocean floor there was barely mapped. Mountain ranges, deep trenches, total darkness. For months, nothing. Then years, until in July 2015, more than a year after the disappearance, something washed ashore in a beach in Reunion Island. A wing fragment. It belonged to MH370. There were no survivors. More fragments appeared along the coasts of Africa, enough to confirm the truth. The aircraft had crashed into the Indian Ocean, but the main wreckage, the black boxes, the final moments, were never found. In 2017, the official search was suspended, not because answers were discovered, but because the ocean refused to give them up. Was MH370 the result of a deliberate act, or a chain of decisions no one will ever fully understand? We may never know what truly happened in that cockpit, only that 239 people vanished, and the sky never explained why.